samples that have been returned and they need to put away. First, they need to get out of the boxes. They need to figure out what's there. Then they need to get put away so that they're ready to be loaned to other shops. So I loan samples of quilts and different projects to shops. Some of these are actually coming back from a museum for people to be able to see and for shops to be able to sell these items without having to make the samples themselves. And then when they're done, they send them back to me. So I have, I don't know, it's like 5 boxes here that we need to go through. And I thought when we do unboxings of other stuff, why not hang out here and do an unboxing of some of the samples that are coming back. So we're going to go ahead and turn this camera around. Let's see and get this set up. Hopefully you can get a good view of what's going on there. There we go. Okay. And so now I should be able to come over here if we're doing this right, because we're trying to use that front facing camera so that you can see things not backwards, right? Let's see. Come on. Come on. It does not want to work on here. We will get this figured out. We got this figured out last time. I know it's possible. There it is. There it is. There it is. Yay! Okay. Hi, Cynthia. Hi, Helen. Helen from San Antonio. Hi, Donna. Hi, just to see you smile. Hi, Janice. Okay. So, let's grab some scissors so we can open up these boxes. So you can see this like pink tape on here. That's my tape. So they returned it in the boxes that I shipped it to them in, which is perfect. And I want to be careful because you never know how experienced the person who packed everything is in packing. And so they may have unprotected things on the top. So if you cut too deep when you're unboxing these, you might cut into like a quilt or project, and that would be a bummer. I don't want to do that. So, and I don't know, somewhere I have a ceramic blade that's less likely to damage a project. I don't know where that is right now, so let's do what we can. I can hear the air tag in this one. These ones got shipped with an air tag in them. There we go. Okay. Let's see what we have in this box. This one is from the museum. So I had this air tag box 203 that was in there to track them. These are from the museum. So let's take a look at them. I can take them out of their bags. So this one is the Scrappiest Quilt. I don't like storing them in bags. I want them to have a little. No, sorry, this is the Scrappy Heart Quilt. So this one is, and it's upside down. There we go. So this one's Scrappy Heart Quilt. Hi, Carmen. Hi, Erin. Hi, Mickey. So that's Scrappy Heart Quilt. That's one of my patterns. So this one's available now again for loan for shops who want to have these. Oh, this is the original. This one's on, actually that one's on the cover of the pattern as well. This is the gallery wall quilt, and it's also on the cover of the pattern. So this is the gallery wall quilt. That's the pattern cover quilt. You can see enough of that. I love the quilting on this one. I free motion quilted this one on a domestic sewing machine. So I did the quilting all free motion on this one. It looks really, when you get to see it up close. Oh, this was one that I used as a backdrop at a quilt market one time. It was around Halloween, and I was the this girl with like the red bandana. But we can do it. So I had this behind me as part of my Halloween costume, and this was the poster. And just fun free motion quilting and like a fun project. And then I have some of my minis back. This is a little heart mini. This one's a butterfly mini. The butterfly design is by Georgette Delorco, who is the mother of Danielle Stout. Danielle's of Cozy Quilt Designs, who passed away last year. And then this is the original, this is the first from my Cricut Maker block of the week that I did, where I was teaching folks who have a Cricut machine how to be quilters and how they can make quilts. So those will all have to get filed back away. A lot of those are more like historical things, like past Carolina projects. Not the heart and the gallery wall quilt are both quilts that shops would, those have patterns, but the rest are the museum exhibit was a little bit about like my journey as a quilter and where I've gotten today. Oh my goodness, there's a lot of comments. Yay. Okay, I love that y'all love them. What a fun way to spend a Thursday afternoon, right? Okay. The Cricut's fun. I haven't used mine in a while. I need to get it out for a project. Okay, this one is, these are, I have two of these Seuss quilts that I made. And not this one was made in year 2. This one was made, this was the first one that I made. And this is actually the first thing that I ever free motion quilted, which was really cool because when you're first free motion quilting, you don't quite have like the smooth control yet, but Dr. Seuss has these kind of like jaggedy lines. And so it worked out perfect for kind of getting the feel of free motion quilting and doing a project that when it was done, it didn't look bad because it was kind of supposed to be all jaggedy like that. So that's that. Oh, this one here. Let's see if we can get this one up close. This is a mini that I did, and the free motion quilting on this, I just love, 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 love. It's tiny, tiny free motion quilting. And then you can just maybe see a little bit at the back. There's a big sleeve on there, so some of the back is not so visible. But tiny feathers and no. So these are part of kind of my journey as a quilter and becoming a pattern designer. And this is one of my newer patterns. This one is called Medallion, and it's made using the diamond strip ruler, which I launched last year. And so this one's available for shops to borrow. So they can help sell that pattern, or yeah, sell that pattern in that ruler, and they can use it as a sample. So it's a really fun quilt. And I have another version of this one in blues if the shop wants to have it in different colors to borrow. So I have 2 of those. And this one, I know what this one is. This one is my very first ever quilt. And so we had this hanging at the museum as part of the, like, you know, where I started. Because you should compare yourself. If you're going to compare yourself, don't compare your beginning to someone else's middle. Compare your beginning to their beginning. And even so, it's not even an apples to apples comparison, because when someone's beginning was can also make a big difference. So this was my very first quilt. And I had this on my bed for years and years and years as well. So I made this in 92, I think. Yeah, I think it was 92. Whew. So been quilting 33, almost 34 years. All right, we're going to fold these up nicely later because we need to get through these boxes. I have 3 more boxes over here, I think. Whew. 3 more boxes and a bag. All right. Let's see. This one is also from the Quilt Museum. All right, beautiful diamonds. Love my diamond strip ruler. So pretty. Erin says she's only quilting for 2 years. That's how we start, right? Like, you start at one point and then that's your starting point, and from there, every year you've been quilting one more year. Like, I didn't do anything yesterday that has me having that I've quilted for 30 years. All right, these boxes they were already reused boxes when I got them, and then I reused them to ship to the museum, and then they used them to ship back to me. So I think these boxes have basically lost their structural integrity. We're going to be getting rid of these boxes, so I'm not worried too much about the box. I'm worried more about keeping safe what I have inside the boxes to make sure that that doesn't get ripped, damaged, ruined, destroyed. There we go. All right. Oh, I know what's in here. What's in here? Okay. I'd also sent them a diamond strip ruler so they could have some of the notions on display if they wanted. Oh, thank you, Helen. Okay, so this one is the Wildflower bouquet quilt. And not only did I design this quilt and piece this quilt, I did not quilt this quilt. This quilt was quilted by Art Gallery Fabrics. But not only did I design this quilt and piece this quilt, but I actually picked the flowers and took the photo of the flowers to make this quilt. So here we go. This is the Wildflower bouquet quilt. And this is foundation paper pieced. There's a full pattern available with printable foundation papers. Okay, let's move some of these quilts over on a chair because we're getting a hefty pile going here. Here we go. Excuse me as I'm like right in your face here for a second. There we go. Okay. Here, tag. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Okay, here are some, oh, these are some older quilts as well. This one was one that I did with a ruler that Nancy Zeman came out with. It was like a dimensional Dresden ruler. And so I designed this to go with that dimensional Dresden launch. This has to be like at least 10 years ago that I did that one. And then this one is a really fun, I'll try to get this one up a little closer. This one is done with, I'm trying to remember, what was it, Kaufman's fabric? No, I don't remember. Maybe one of y'all will remember. So this was the fabric. This is what the fabric looked like here. And there was a challenge. And so I took a photo of my hand and designed it so that these rings would be on there. And the rings were all, I want to say those are needle turn applique, if I remember right. I think they're needle turn applique. I have to look at it. Because they're not pieced that way. Wow, my needle turn applique was on point. Yeah, those are needle turn applique. Wow. So yeah, I did needle turn applique. I took a photo of my hand, and then if you look, you can kind of see a grid on the quilt. So I took a photo of my hand, I made it a grid, and then I made each block a part of that grid, and then I sewed them together to make my hand. And needle turn appliqued those rings on there. And then free motion quilted the heck out of it. and entered it in this contest, and it didn't win. It made it into the traveling exhibit. So it traveled, I don't even know, I think it went to Australia. It traveled the world for like a couple of years, and then I got it back. It was a year. So I made this, and the little dots are thermoweb deco foil. So little dots of like gold on the edges of the rhinestones are thermoweb deco foil. So I did that, and then I actually finished the project like a day early, which never happens, like a day before the deadline. I had a whole other day, and I thought maybe I can make another quilt in a day. So I made a very modern quilt with the same fabrics, and this is what I made. And this one actually also made it into the traveling exhibit. So just different, a lot of straight line quilting, and then I quilted those jewels off the edges of the fabric. So yeah, I'm not a big art quilter. Like, I don't tend to do art quilts, but every now and then, like, I've done a handful of art quilts, so I can do it. It's just not like my go-to in quilting. I tend to be more of a traditional quilter, but especially for contests, I like stretching myself, and so that was a big stretch for me. This was my first ever ribbon winning quilt. This won a second place in the San Diego quilt show, and this one's called Ellipses. I did it in 2015, and I want to say that these fabrics are Kate Spade Fandango. Like, that's how old these fabrics are. And I'd had them for a while when I made the quilt. Because 2015, I mean, that's 10 years ago. How is it 10 years ago? Yeah, this was 2015. And I entered it in the San Diego Quilt Show. Do I have a list of all the quilts I've made over the years? I don't. I wish I did. I had one started at one point, and then I didn't, and I've made all kinds of, and things that have been given away. This one was my logo, and it's also like overly quilted. I'll come bring this one close so you can see the quilting on this. See if I can hold it still enough that you can see. I love doing this micro quilting. I want to do this again. I want to do more micro quilting. It's so fun. Just sitting, listening to an audiobook or a podcast and doing the quilting. Anyway, this one has a funny, like, we'll share it just among ourselves story. When I went to do the binding, I was short on how much fabric I needed to be able to cut my binding strips. So I decided to do a flange binding because that would essentially double the amount of fabric that I had, because I would have the flange in there. But the thing about a flange binding is that it's bigger than a regular binding. And so all the points ended up getting cut off on my star. And this is my logo. So having all the points cut off, not ideal, friends. Not what we want. So if I were to do this again, I would add another border, but I'd already quilted it. And there is a way to add another border after quilting, but it's a huge thing. And I didn't even think about it until the binding was basically halfway on and I was sewing it onto the front with the flange. So yeah, I would have added another border around it and then added the flange binding so that I would have kept all my points, because it's my logo. So I think that this one, well, my logo is changed. It now has the aqua in the corners. This was the original version of my logo. So maybe I need to redo this quilt in the 3 colors that it now is, and maybe with the black on the background. And maybe I won't do it. I love a flange binding though. A flange binding is really fun. And this is kind of from that same era. This one is 2019 with also, again, super, super densely quilted. And this one's a feathered star. Yeah. All right. Let's see. What other questions? Do you do that dense of quilting on a long arm or domestic? I do it on a domestic. You can do it on a long arm. Maybe you can. I don't have the skill set to do it on a long arm. For me, my hands are on the fabric. My face is like this far away. I mean, I'll put on the reading glasses though, and I can do that. But with a long arm, my hands are up here and the fabric's down there. And that distance for me is too much. I need my hands right in it. For me, it's like drawing with a long pencil with my hand too far away from the tip of the pencil. I want my hands really close to the tip of the pencil when I'm doing fine detail. I want my hands close to the machine. So I do it just on a regular domestic sewing machine. My Baby Lock Ballad is my preferred for being able to do permission quilting. Okay, more quilts. I'll put this bag down here. You can put some of these quilts in there. Alrighty. You can do a sew along. And your logo, put your Lego blocks in a quilt. I could, maybe. Maybe. That'd be fun. All right. Oh, I know what quilt this is. Sometimes I look at them, I go, which quilt is that? Because these are the backs, and I know which quilts both these are. So the top one is, this one is the scrappiest quilt. It's the one that I thought, it's the one that comes before the scrappy heart quilt. Both of them take a single roll of scrap tape, and then you get to use all your scraps. This one has actually been a couch quilt on my sofa at home, and it's called the Scraps Quilt, and it's a single roll of scrap tape plus some background fabric. And the background fabric on this is Caterina Rochella's Seed of Roses, which is one of my favorite background fabrics because it's got a lot of color and a lot of pop, but it's still, it doesn't overwhelm the piece, especially with as many scraps as I have in this. So this is the scrappiest quilt. And you can see, like, this is extra fabric from when I did that logo quilt. And this is that, is it the feathered? I think that, yeah, the Feathered Star has this one in there. And so I know a lot of these fabrics from different projects that I've done. I know I did a video that I had this fabric in. This is from that same line that I used for my logo. Yeah. Oh. This one is a quilt that is still not finished yet. But like the top is done. It just is, I started quilting it and I have not finished quilting it. So, yep. I have idea for a video that I want to do where I talk about some of the best quilts for using up scraps, and this is right up there on that list. And I also have an idea for another scrap tape quilt. I have this really fun idea for another scrap tape quilt. I do. You know, in my free time. Okay, this one is the very first block of the month that I did. This is the 4-patch block of the month. So let's see, what are we in? We're in 2025, which is the third one. So 2025 is the half square triangle block of the month. 2024 was the 9-patch block of the month. And 2023 was the 4-patch block of the month. And I ended up reprinting these, even though they're calendars. Like I, years later, I reprinted 2023 calendars because people still wanted this as a block of the month. And I can reformat it as a regular pattern now. I just didn't have the time and people wanted it. So I just went, all right, fine. I will just reprint 2023 calendars in 2025 so people could make this one. So this is that block of the month. And also, you can kind of see right here, I did a little video on pattern matching your backing. And you can see, I don't know if you can see that the seam is right here. And that pattern still goes, like those bird cages still exactly line up because I pattern matched those fabrics. Quilt history. Okay, this one, ooh, we have an award-winning quilt, and we have a quilt from last year. So this blue one is my second award-winning quilt. That this is also San Diego Quilt Show. I had some in the fair that won ribbons in the fair as well, but this one won Judge's Choice at the San Diego Quilt Show. And all of these are hand-dyed Shabori fabrics. So I Shabori dyed all these fabrics and then cut them up and then sewed them together and then free motion quilted them. And then bound it. And then entered in a quilt show to see what would happen. And I got a judge's choice. Because it's definitely different. Yeah. And then the back was also dunked in that same vat of dye at the end when the dye that wasn't as strong anymore. So it's got a big Shabori dyed back. Or like they're kind of fat quarters. I think most of them are fat quarters. It might have been a half yard piece. There were some white on whites and just some plain whites that I dunked in there. All right, this one is called Peppermint Striped. It is a more recent quilt. This is from last year. This is diamond strip ruler, and it's an easy beginner quilt to make with a diamond strip ruler. It comes together really quick. This one called Peppermint Stripe. And it has the fun zigzag binding. Yeah. This one was quilted by my friend Tammy, so I didn't quilt this one. Tammy Bradley quilted this one for me. She's the Enchanted Desert quilter. She's a long armor up in Utah. And when I'm in a bind, pun intended, I can ask Tammy if I can ship it up to her. She'll quilt it and ship it right back to me, and she'll do them quick for me when I need. All right, that's box 2. We have 2 more boxes. Ooh, this is going to take a little bit. Okay. All right. Okay. There is one more. There's another box from the museum, but we're going to do this one real quick. This one is from a quilt shop that borrowed some recent samples for a show. And so they sent the samples back. So this is coming back from a quilt shop. Oh, I'm glad y'all are loving these quilts. All right. Aha. I know what this is. This is the bust that I made for the quilted jewelry. I didn't make the bust. I decorated the bust. And it's not really a full bust. It's like an ear and a neck. But I decorated this to go with the launch of my quilted jewelry line. She wrapped this up really well. I appreciate you, my friend. If you're watching this video, thanks for making sure my stuff was taken care of. All right. So, yeah. It's got an earring and it's got some necklaces on there, but I hand applied these rhinestones one by one on here because I like adding rhinestones to things that don't need rhinestones. So this is for the quilted jewelry patterns. There's 3 volumes, volumes 1, 2, and 3, and each one has 8 designs in it. And then, oh, these are the quilt trading card quilts. So we actually have 2 versions of the quilt trading card quilts. One done in Arc Alley fabrics, and then someone else did one for me in Ruby Star fabrics. So here is the OG, the one that I did in the videos, that if you watch the videos, you've seen this one made. Here it is. And then I quilted it, and then I added way too many labels. Not really. There's no such thing as too many labels. I added a ton of labels on here just for fun, because I had them, and why not? So I added labels on here for whimsy. So this is the Quilt Trading Cards quilt done in Arc Alley fabrics. This is series 1 of the Quilt Trading Cards. Series 2, I'm not even looking at the comments. I know someone's asking. When's series 2? Series 2 should be out in September. Should be out in September. Fingers crossed. Should be out in September. We're getting ready to print it, which means we're going to stop printing series 1. And here is that same quilt done in Ruby Star fabrics. And on this one, she added little loops, like ribbon loops, so that we could clip the cards, the actual cards, onto the blocks. And you could see the different cards with the blocks that they go to. And then these little clips can get taken off and the ribbon doesn't hurt anything, but this is so it could be displayed. So this is Series 1 quilt trading cards done in Ruby Star. Okay. Just a rhinestone quilter. Just a rhinestone quilter. Okay, that box. That's not too bad. What else do we have here? All right, these are more samples from the shop. I'm going to cut into this without making sure I don't cut what's in it, because that would be sad. All right, here we go. All right, bowl cozy. These are box bag template things. So I've got a bowl cozy. I've got, this is a drawstring pouch. This is the drawstring backpack. She said that maybe she'd sent something. This is a drawstring backpack sample, not one that we made. So I think this one needs to go back to her. We'll send that back to her. Perfect. I can let her know that arrived. And then a couple gift bags. These are actually the gift bags that are on the cover. And these ones have seen, they've been around a couple years, so they've seen some stuff. I've made some new gift bag samples so that we have some fresh ones. And then these are all the different, this is volume 2 of the quilted jewelry. This one's volume 3. This one's volume 3 of quilted jewelry. And this one's volume 1. They're all flippity flippity. There's volume 1. And they go on stands. Those are made to go on. This is actually also the, what is it called? Label organizer or jewelry display quilt. So it's 2 patterns in one, where you can make yourself a jewelry display, or you can do a label organizer to hold all your woven labels. Thanks, Carmen. I'm glad. Carmen says so many wonderful projects. And Just As You Smile says, the patterns are just precious. Thank you. Carmen also says, I love those earrings. You can make them. They're simple little foundation paper piece patterns. They are little. If you're new-ish to foundation paper piecing, I'd say do volume 1 first. Those are the most beginner friendly. And then you can do volumes 2 and 3. All right, so here are the stand pieces for the quilted jewelry displays. And I need to take these with me to an event. So I'll make sure that I set these aside so I have them handy for that. You don't need to come. You need to come. You will come. All right, all of this can get tucked aside. Over here. All right, I think we have one last box, and I think I know what's in it. So this is going to be a good one. You're going to be glad you stuck around for this one. Oh, yep, this is a heavy one. Okay. All right. Let's open this one up. These are fabric in there, padding. presser foot. That might be a hint of what's in here if I'm pulling a presser foot out. Right. Oh yeah, this is just like nonsense that I just threw in there as padding. So that all came back. I've got box bag templates, including a pink glitter box bag template. The Ultimate Paper Piecing Reference Guide that has both foundation paper piecing and English paper piecing. My bag book, Sewing Perfect Little Bags and Totes, which is basically just like a beginner's guide step by step through all things bag making. All right, we have some bags. This one was from a sample I made in a Carly Porter class that I took. This one is using vinyl. These are actually bags from the book. Let's see, this is also a bag from the book. Showing how to put an outside pocket on. So the book just takes you through like everything, how to add a zipper, how to add a snap, how to add handles in like 3 different ways. How to add a clasp. So it takes you through all of the, oh, there's a foundation piece of water pen. Basic zippered pouch. What else? Oh, I know what that is. For a second I thought, what is that? I forgot that was in there. There's 2 big surprises in here. I forgot that I'd sent that. All right, these quilts are, I think, the 2024 block of the month. This is the 2024, yeah. This is the 2024 block of the month, which was the 9-patch block of the month. The 2024 block of the month. There's that one. And then this one is a free pattern that uses panels, and you can use whatever panels you want. This is just fun. This is a free pattern on my blog, alwaysexpectmore.com. That is there we go. All wrapped up in batting. All right, also in here, these are my very first free motion quilting samples. I should like frame these or something. Because friends, they're not great. Like, they're the first. They're like, I showed you some of like the great work that I've done. These are some of the very first ones. Like they're very wonky. They're very loosey-goosey. Like the tension on the back is not great, but this is where I started. And where you start and where you finish are only the same as if you never go any further. So you start and then you keep going. And that's how you get better. Okay, let me move these out of the way. Bye. All right. Yes, she is. She came back home. This is Blinged Out Baby Lock. She's going to come with me this weekend as well. I'm glad she came back. She came back perfect time. This is the Blinged Out Baby Lock. I did this. I added every single individual rhinestone by hand on this. And this is Baby Lock on the top. This is the Blinged Out Baby Lock. This is her. Yes, just to see you smile. Says, I was hoping your machine would be in here. Yes, and there's something else too. Right, she needs a little TLC back here. She's been back and forth and everywhere. So she needs a little buff up. That's okay. Ugh. Here we go. Here's the other one. Nanny J21 says, oh, my glitter, that is so cool. All right, here we go. So I'm a Baby Lock ambassador, but I'm also an AccuQuilt die designer. So I blinged out an AccuQuilt Go Me. And it's got fluff on here. We're gonna have to figure that out. Fluff got into the glue and the batting. That's okay. I think we'll be able to buff that out. There we go. And yes, this is the presser cut foot and power cord for the Baby Lock because she is a fully functioning machine. She 100% does work. And I bring her places and so on that machine, and she's fun. So yeah. Whew. All right. I have these boxes now all taken apart. So now I have like 3 piles in here. I went from having 5 boxes to 3 piles. I don't know if that's a lot better, but it is what it is. We'll pretend that it's better. We'll call it better. That's fine. And so yeah, these are. I'll have to break down the boxes the rest of the way and bring those out to the trash because they have served their purpose. Were already secondhand boxes when I shipped them, and then they've gone back and forth again with some heavy stuff in there and taken a beating. So I wouldn't trust shipping anything out in these boxes again. So they'll go into the recycling, the cardboard recycling. And then we can, yeah, have our fun machines I can take with me this weekend for the next event. All right, friends, thanks for joining me in unboxing my own stuff. These are they're quilt samples and jewelry samples that I'm happy to send out to quilt shops who want to be able to display samples. That means that they don't have to make the samples themselves. I love quilt shops. If you're subscribed, which by the way, if you're not, hit that subscribe button. But if you're subscribed, if you've been around for a while on this channel, you know what a huge fan I am of quilt shops and how much I want to support quilt shops in every way that I can. So lending out my sample quilts so that they have samples in their store to be able to show off the patterns, it helps them sell my patterns. So they win by selling the patterns, and then I win by selling the like everybody wins. I'm very happy to loan out those quilts. We have a quilt loan program with a new book coming up, the 10-inch square quilt block book. I have a quilt loan program for the quilts in the book, and then also the quilts that I've made and have had the team made since writing that book. So there are quilts on loan for that for when the book launches that folks can borrow those quilts. And not folks, but like quilt shop folks, so that you can go to your local quilt shop and get to see the quilts hanging or displayed or shown at the block of the month or the first Saturday or whatever events the quilt shop has, so that you can get to see some of the quilts in person. Because I love seeing pictures of quilts, but seeing them in person is just, it's another level. So it's great when we can see them in person. All right, any questions before I go back? I have studio lights on in the other room. I took a break for a minute from filming that video to come film this video. I was squaring up blocks, which is not my favorite. And I thought, okay, well, I know I wanted to open these boxes and I knew I wanted to go live when I opened these boxes. So I thought I would just come here and get that done. It sounds like it was a chore. I ran away from that to do this, and now I have to go back to squaring up blocks. So I will be very thankful when I'm sewing the blocks together that I spent the time to square them up. But right now, I have to square them up, and I don't like it. Let's see. Is it September 3rd yet? Cynthia's hilarious. If you don't know, which Cynthia very, very, very well knows, September 3rd is when the Advent calendar launches, the 2025 Mini Quilt Advent, which, by the way, is the 5th year that I've done an Advent calendar. That is my Taylor Swift Easter egg. Those of you you'll realize it later when I launch it, why that's an Easter egg. So September 3rd, it's always the first Friday in September is when we launch the Mini Quilt Advent. So Friday, September 3rd, we will launch the Mini Quilt Advent. It will be on pre-sale for 2 weeks before the price goes up to the regular price, and then it stays at that price forever. I've had folks ask, do I discount the older Advent calendars? I don't. They never get discounted. Or well, the only time they're discounted is on pre-sale for the people who are buying in September for something that they're not going to get until the first or we ship them out the first week in November. So you usually get them the second week in November. So you're giving money for something that you're not going to see for 2 months. And also the pre-sale numbers help me determine what the sales are going to look like through the whole year. So I so appreciate the people, the many people who buy on pre-sale, because it helps me with all the business end of things to buy those things on pre-sale. And so you get a discount for that when you buy pre-sale. And that's September 3rd. Yeah. September 3rd is red circled on my calendar. Y'all are making me blush. I love that you love Advent as much as I do, because I love Advent. It is an incredible amount of work. It is so much work to put together. My whole family gets in on it. It is, can you see? And no, you can't really see. I'm looking at on the side and see what you can see in the video. But you see here, anyway, these are fat quarters that are folded up underneath here that you can't see behind the machine in the box are here. Let's see if I can show you. All right, I think you can see that now. This is probably almost 12 inches, and there's another stack behind that. So we have about 2 feet high stacked half-yard cuts. And those half-yard cuts, some of them will become fat quarters and some of them will become half-yard bundles. So those are fat quarter bundles and half-yard bundles that are not yet folded. That someone, and I think her name is Caroline, Caroline needs to fold those after she goes and squares up some. I need to stop procrastinating on here with y'all. But you're so much more fun. You know what? Maybe I'll do another live and I'll fold up some half-yard bundles and fat quarter bundles when I do that live. And that can be the next thing we do when we hang out. And yeah, because it's a lot of fabric. And I'm so incredibly thankful for y'all for wanting to go on this really insane Advent journey with me. I think it's fun. And I think you think it's fun. And I love that. I love all of you for that. All right. Any other questions? Advents are the best idea ever. Drop things. Oh, here's my other air tag. Jennifer says, I'll buy it 2 days early. I won't let you. I will not let you buy it 2 days early. It goes up September 3rd. September 3rd. September 3rd. Friday, September 3rd. Yes. Sherry says, I have homework with half square cuts tonight. I don't know what half square cuts are. September 3rd is a Wednesday? You're messing with me. Calendar. Then it's September 5th. No, that's why someone said that they'll buy it 2 days early. It is September 5th. It must be September 5th. I don't know. It's the first Friday in September. And I don't have the calendar. The big, it's over there. I can't get to it from here. So then it must be the 5th. All right, Jennifer. We need you to keep us honest. September 5th, not September 3rd. What's September 3rd? I have a family member who has a birthday on September 3rd. That's probably why I'm thinking September 3rd. But Advent and their birthday are not the same day. Advent Day is September 5th. Blame back to school. I'll blame lack of sleep for all the things that are going on. Because we have the new book launch. So I'm working on stuff for the new book launch. We have the new block of the month. We have the Advent calendars. We have series 2 of quilt trading cards. We have this trip that I'm going on this weekend. And other things that I can't disclose. It's okay, Cynthia. I misremembered too. I was willing to run with it. September 3rd. That sounds good. Let's go September 3rd. All right. September 5th. The 5th. September 5th. Oh, that might also be an Easter egg. I don't know. Okay. Jennifer says go take a nap. I can't take a nap. I have to go square up some quilt blocks. So I will go work on that. And my tummy is grumbling. So maybe I will grab a bite to eat. It's 3:30. And I had a breakfast and a snack, but I think it's time for maybe another snack. I don't know. Does someone have a headache? All right, friends, if you haven't already given this video any hearts, give them hearts, thumbs up, likes, all those things that YouTube loves. If you are new around here, hit that subscribe button, and I will try to have a new video up for you tomorrow. Not sure if I can get that done tonight, but we'll try to have a new video up for you tomorrow. Subscribe, like, and I'll see you here soon. All right. Jenna says, do we need to remind you to eat and drink water? I drank a lot of water yesterday. I've not been as good about it today. So the answer there is clearly yes. Yes, you do. All right. House square cuts to cut and sew and then make something from. Oh, okay. All right, Sherry. All right, friends, thanks so much for hanging out. It's always a pleasure to be here live with you. I've got to come around so that I can turn off, say yes, we're ending the live. And I think that this format with the front-facing camera should be better. And I think I've got some other ideas for how we can make this front-facing camera thing work so that things aren't backwards, because otherwise, like this A on the AccuQuilt would be backwards and that'd be weird. All right. Just going to end the live. Bye, friends. Bye.